And here we go. So, what's actually interesting about doing these laws is I was reviewing the 7th one last night, as I finished the 6th one. And the 6th one is court attention at all costs, and the 7th one is get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. And what I love about going through these one by one is I get to be the proctor in saying, don't do this garbage if you want to be a made man. Do this if you want to be a man of character, of integrity. And so disseminating the laws, right? However powerful, however effective that they may be in your elevation. I put in a note for tomorrow, or the 7th laws lecture, don't be a weasel rat. So I love that I get to be that man at the vanguard, that if one day these videos have heavy influence on young men, I get to be that father, masculine leadership figure that's just like, no, don't do this garbage, do this. Do what aligns with character and integrity and morals and self-respect, and don't do this garbage that aligns with being a treacherous snake weasel fucking rat. So with that, let's get right into it. So this is 48 Laws of Power, law number 6, court attention at all costs. So in your rise to power, my first note was obscurity. We learned this, it's over here. Let me get up, in the 10X rule by Grant Cardone. The biggest challenge you're gonna face in your business, in entrepreneurship, is obscurity. And so it ties directly into court attention at all costs. I was having this conversation with Ricardo the other day, and I said, that's the biggest challenge when you're starting a business, running a business. No one knows who the fuck you are. And the gap, I said this in the last video and I had to edit it because I said it wrong. I said, that's the gap, the bridge you're trying to gap. It's the gap that you're trying to bridge is trust. For example, you launch a business into an industry, into a marketplace that has existed for decades, if not 100 years or more. Any industry you can think of. Supplements, education, you're getting into the railroad industry, the oils. Why should I buy into you? You're new, you have no track record, you have no credibility, reputation, repute yet. Why should I trust you? Why should I give you my dollars? The gap that you're trying to bridge is trust, is certainty. And so that's the challenge that you're facing, and he goes over in the 10X rule, is your challenge is obscurity. No one knows who you are. Why should I trust you when this other brand, even if they're an inferior product or service, but they're trustworthy enough, I know of them, so they can't be horrible. I don't know you, right? That's the challenge. And so that's why it's a good thing in terms of prioritizing attention, especially in today's world. Andrew Tate calls it, we live in an attention economy. Where attention and eyeballs go, money flows. Money follows attention. So I'm trying to think of a good way to word this, but if you can gain people's eyes on you, you'll be able to traffic and funnel them to a place where there's a payment processing application, right? So that's all. I'm trying to preface this with saying, in the world that we're going, if you have the intention of building a product, of building a service, of building a brand, of building a business, right? Even if it's just your name and your reputation, your greatest challenge isn't customer satisfaction, isn't product quality, it's no one knows who the fuck you are, right? And so that's the importance of striving for successful entrepreneurial prosperity. Is Simon Sinek words it beautifully. The point of a car isn't to buy gas, but you need gas to get you where you want to go. The point of a business isn't to make money, but you need the money to get you where you want to go, to fulfill your purpose, your mission, right? Without money, that's people you can't reach, because these people wouldn't know about you unless you had the money to pay for marketing, to pay for advertising, to pay for brand development, right? So by you becoming more, you have more to give others, you have more resource, gas, to be able to reach others, right? To drive to them in the form of advertisement landing on their screen, right? Oh wow, I never would have known about you had I not got this Instagram ad or this YouTube ad or this Facebook ad. How do you get that? Money. How do you break that gap of obscurity? Money. Do you understand? Or being true to yourself. And that's the other thing. Consistency of being true to who you are, I swear, you will find your 10%. I saw great videos by David Meltzer, I think it's Meltzer with an L, and he said, you're not gonna vibe or jive with 90% of people. Not on your vibration or frequency. They're not gonna like you, they're not gonna give a shit about your product or service. But 10% of people, they're going to really like you, right? They're going to really resonate with you. They're gonna really see, hey, I like this guy. And typically people like things about the person that they like about themselves. I like these qualities in this person. This person seems honest, transparent, candid, has self-respect, respects me, etc. So, all of that to say, that's the biggest initial takeaway that I wrote down as my first note with courting attention at all costs. The sixth law of power is whenever you're doing a business venture, entrepreneurship, or anything, your greatest barrier is obscurity, without a doubt. Without a doubt. When I was selling my pre-workouts, that was the biggest challenge. I exhausted the entire list of everyone I knew. I exhausted the entire list of referrals of everyone I knew. Then it was time to exhaust the list of people who I didn't know. And the way that I would do that is I would search on Instagram by location. I would search gyms just in Southern California, and then I had hundreds of prospect lists. And then you're just cold calling, but cold DMing. Hey, I noticed you go to the same gym as me, or you go to this gym. Are you taking pre-workout? I would love to give you a sample. I would love for you to try this. I just launched this company. This is our delicious flavor, etc., etc. And then you're able to bridge that gap. And the challenge that I would always face is, I don't know you. I don't trust you. Who are you? Why should I buy your thing? Right? Comes from bridging the gap. Yeah, bridging the gap. I said it right this time in this video. Of obscurity. Next. Brand, personal brand. So I wrote this down as a subnote to your personal brand because this is very important to note, especially as these videos age. The only thing that is going to differentiate you in the future with AI is your personal brand. Your personal brand. As in, you don't have any competition with your personal brand because you are one of one. One of one. There's a good quote by Dr. Seuss. No one is youer than you. You're the best you that ever was, that ever is, that ever will be. You understand? So when it comes to you differentiating yourself in the marketplace, whatever your industry is, you're not going to have any competition should you just choose to be fucking true to who you are. And so this is what I wrote in my notes. I said, be true to yourself. Don't be a clown or jester. As in, I love that I got this insight from Andrew Tate, and he said, it's a race to the bottom. If you have to degrade yourself or make yourself into a fucking clown or do some dance or some garbage to gain views, to gain attention, while you might get them in the short term, you're going to have to continue to do that garbage to sustain that growth. And it ties in with the reputation, which was the first law. Let's go back one page. So much depends on reputation guarded with your life. Do you want that to be known for that refute, is that a word? Of a fucking clown, of a jester, of someone no one takes seriously, right? Of someone who everyone knows is playing a fucking character. And so they can't actually trust you. They don't even know who the real you is. And that was a note that I put, be you, only then can the people who love you for you find you. If you're constantly playing this other fucking character, no one who would actually love you for who you are can find you because you're hiding behind a fucking mask, right? This is the mask that you're wearing of this courtier, of this fucking jester, of this clown, when the real you, that there are people who would love to interact with, love to learn from, love to talk to, love to get to know, love to be around, love to date, or pursue, but they don't know who the fuck you are because you've never had the courage to be yourself, to show yourself. And that comes, and this is the caveat and why I preface this entire lecture with saying, I love that I get to be the vanguard proctor of these laws in what I believe you should embody and what you should stand guard at the doorway of your mind when considering them, which is, it might cost you attention when you are actually yourself. It could be boring to a lot of people because people like the get rich quick, get fit quick. How can I get out of the work, the instant gratification, the entertainment, right? When you go on these social media platforms, I just fucking challenge yourself. Just go to scroll, the search. Tell me it's not about being entertained. It's not about all of this fucking information in 10 seconds or capturing your attention. Now the trend is 1 fucking second. Your mind is broken. You can't even watch a video. You can't even read a chapter of a book and sit still without that fucking stimulus, without the scrolling, the dopamine flood. Do you understand? Cure your mind. Nourish your garden. Take your time. Let patience have her perfect work. It all ties into being true to who you are, and I'm prefacing that and giving you the heads up that that will come at the cost of no one giving a fuck about you. Because truth and principle, while they stand the test of time, boring. No one wants to do the work. No one wants to do the grind, the monotony, the day-to-day activities that amount and compound to the accolade, to the achievement. They don't want to emulate the fucking process. They want to emulate the results. They want the glory. They don't want any of the fucking work that was involved with that dream coming to fruition. So it's super important to keep in the back of your mind, food for thought, food for consideration, that while he insists court attention at all costs, and your challenge is going to be obscurity, I would implore you, encourage you, because it's something that I'm fucking aligning with, not just in my words, but in my actions, to be true and consistent with who you are. Not a fucking character, not pretending to be someone you're not. For the short-term gain, short-term gratification, I always pose the question, to what end? At what cost? What is being a fucking clown, jest, or whatever to get these more views or to get this? I was like, I'm not making my university predicated on clickbait. That's why you notice every single thumbnail is just the book and is just what it is. This law of power or this book in this university. I'm building a fucking beautiful garden of honor, self-respect, integrity, regardless of the viewership. If a video that had taken hours to read, to film, to edit, render, all of this, if it gets less than 10 fucking views, I don't care. Because I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it for the sake of the beautiful garden. The sake of my name being attached to it. It's like, I know what I'm building on a long enough time horizon, this is going to be the most beautiful garden, the greatest gift I could possibly give anyone, and even more importantly than that I could ever give myself. For that quote, life is not about what you get, it's about who you become and what you're able to give now that you've become more. By making me focusing and prioritizing making my garden so beautiful, I'll have that much more to give others. Do you understand? That comes from being true when the numbers are small. Being true when the numbers are small. And not being willing to sacrifice your character, your integrity, selling your fucking soul for the sake of the short-term gratification, be a fucking clown, be a jester, for more views, for clickbait. Fuck all of that shit. No. My name is Tarek Haux. These are works that I'm proud of. Do you understand? Because my name's fucking attached to it. I'm not going to rush this. I'm not going to do it haphazardly. I'm not going to do it where I cut corners. I'm not going to do it where I degrade myself, where I have to be a fucking clown. I'm going to do it with self-respect, character, integrity, honor, over the long enough time horizon. That's how I know this will be, if not successful, it'll be the most beautiful thing, something that I'm proud of when I look back on it. Do you understand? And that's what matters and is important to me. So, I just wanted to give that as food for thought, food for consideration as we dive into this lecture. Be who you are and say how you feel. Oh, quote from Dr. Seuss. I don't even have to read it. Because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. And that's what I've learned. When I was younger, I was so afraid to speak the truth in the sense of my political stance, where I've never considered myself Republican or Democrat, but I'm anti-snake and I'm anti-tyranny and I'm pro-freedom. And when you are all of those things, you naturally side with conservative values. That's just the natural regression, progression, whatever you want to call it. When you see all of the bullshit of treachery, of snakery, of oppression, of tyranny, you're just like, I don't align with any of that. I'm all of these conservative values. Liberal in spirit, perhaps, conservative in values, traditional, masculine, leadership, the basics, the basic etiquette. And so I love that idea that when I was younger, I'd be afraid to post this flag or post this. The second there was the video where the bullet grazed Donald Trump's ear, and then after that he's raising his fist saying fight, I posted that in a fucking heartbeat on my Instagram. I said, yes, that's a fucking leader. That's a leader. The man who's standing at the vanguard amidst enemy fire. That's who you want going to fucking battle for you. I said, if that isn't someone that you consider a leader, I don't know what the fuck is. And unless he's literally murdered, which I said in a prior lecture it's quite a sad statement that we live in a country that, in the hopes that this candidate doesn't get murdered by the opposition, we have the chance for hope, for freedom, for a brighter tomorrow, a brighter future. And so I love that idea that the older that you get, the less that you give a fuck about the criticism or the concerns of your peers, of other people. And it's fascinating the responses that you get from people that's quite exposing of their development, of their lens, of their emotional capacity. As in, the height of arrogance is to think you can't learn something from another person regardless of their disposition, regardless of their political stance, regardless of how much you hate them, perhaps. You see them through such a lens of anger and resentment and spite. To think you have nothing to learn from someone who's been a billionaire, someone who's dominated multiple fields, someone who's climbed to the pinnacle of success as a candidate, as a reality host, as a real estate person, it's so much arrogance to say that I have nothing to learn from this person. And it's fascinating when you just admire people's lens of how they view the world, which is typically through incredible cowardice, it's through incredible insecurity, and it's through incredible arrogance. Versus if you had fucking humility, if you had security, what was the third one? If you had intellect, that lens of compassion, you would understand that, hey, maybe I don't fucking know it all. Maybe humility, if I didn't say that. Yeah, all the antithesis of the first ones. But that's the idea of being who you are and saying how you feel, because I promise those who mind, don't matter, of course, but those who matter, they don't mind. And that was something that I was concerned about. But what's interesting is even the people that have the super hard my personal political stances, they'll still watch every single fucking story I post. Even the ones that criticize that picture that I reposted. So it's just fascinating that even though people have their insecurities, and those insecurities will shine with their comments, with their criticism, at the end of the day, people crave leadership. People want a man at the fucking table. And so I know at the end of the day, good and tradition is what will stand the test of time. When real hardship and adversity arises, you'll see the feminist shit go out the fucking window. When real adversity is prevalent, is paramount, then people naturally fucking regress to gender roles through traditional values very fucking quickly. Depression, feminist garbage, all this shit goes out the fucking window when shit hits the fan, when adversity actually arises. You'll see very quickly. It lives in a fucking vacuum of privilege and luxury and an easy life. And then that ties into the importance of the generational cycle. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create hard times. Hard times create strong men. Because we've had it so easy, because of our parents' generation, our grandparents' generation of great, strong men, traditional, masculine, men of character, integrity, work ethic. It's created a season that's very easy, that we live in this vacuum where the topic of conversation is our feelings, is I'm offended by this. No, you need to call me this pronoun. Gender is fluid. And you're just sitting there like this in this fucking snowflake generation where it's participation trophies and it's just pussies just in abundance, right? And everyone is such a cuck and a fucking coward. The result of that, the consequence of that, is these pussies, which is to put it lightly. These emotionally, mentally, physically, intellectually weak creatures who have the utmost fucking entitlement, the utmost arrogance and ego. And you're seeing that in plethora in the younger generation. Dude, just go to the gym. I've never seen so much fucking arrogance in my life. Slamming weights, no consideration, no courtesy, no respect. And you look at them and all it is, number one, is a reflection of the time, the generation cycle, like I just said, but also because of horrific parenting. All I see when I see these people are kids who were raised by parents who never told them fucking no, who were never beat, never disciplined, had never gone without. And this is the result. You don't get good, strong men of merit, of character, of honor, of integrity, of self-respect, right? You get these fucking arrogant, entitled, egotistical, narcissistic pricks, these fucking runts that amidst actual adversity would cave fucking immediately. They wouldn't be with their hand raised at the vanguard. They'd be the fucking cowards in the back. Do you understand? So, be who you are and say how you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Dr. Seuss. All right. On mystery. So that's the first part of it, is court attention at all costs, do everything that you can to gain attention. But the big caveat that he puts in this law number 6, court attention at all costs, is to invite the air of mystery. Mystery. Because with mystery, you get to leverage the most powerful thing, other people's imagination. And this works incredibly well. It's incredibly effective in seduction, in dating, in game charm. If you tell them everything you want, everything you have, everything you do, you leave no room for excitement, for mystery, for adventure, for wonder, right? But to have that mystery where they don't know every single fucking detail about you, you get to harness the power of their imagination. And so that way you become a little bit larger than life, right? A little bit more powerful, have a little bit more of an aura about you. It's alluring, it's seductive, it's charming, it's enchanting. It's wonderful, it's fun, it's light, it's playful. Okay, so on mystery, I think I prefaced it well. The power of the mystery, the mysterious, is it invites layers of interpretation, excites our imagination, seduces us into believing that it conceals something marvelous, even if you could be concealing nothing, right? There was a story, I think it's of this general who he's like on his, the barrier of his citadel, and he's like playing the lute, the fucking lute. I think when Rome was burning, it was Nero who was playing the lute. I think the lute is like a mini guitar. I don't know why I did like a flute. The lute. And an enemy comes with his army, and he sees this guy trolling him, like that he is completely unfazed, and he goes back to playing his lute. And the air of mystery, even though he could have been full of shit, was enough to make the other enemy, with his hundreds of men, all of his soldiers that could have taken this guy, who I think was by himself, flee. Because of the mystery, the power of imagination and wonder. Well, what could be behind the wall? Could be nothing, but it could be a lot of things. It could be dinosaurs, so it could be dragons. But yes, so it seduces us into believing that it conceals something marvelous, or treacherous, or terrifying, which he lists. Very effective in seducing, dating, and I put winky face. Completely true. Mystery makes you seem larger than life because you tap into the most powerful thing, another's imagination. Imagination. All right. Do not let your air of mystery be slow. I love this. This is very, very important to reiterate, and I love that I included this. Do not let your air of mystery be slowly transformed into a reputation for deceit. And I put in parentheses, law number 5 was guard that with your life, your reputation. So you can have this mystery, keeping it very light, very harmless, very playful, but you could, if you push that envelope too far, develop a reputation for just a fucking liar, just a snake, just somebody who is never honest, who's always dishonest, who, once they call your bluff enough times and see that you're always bluffing, then you lose the chance of people actually trusting you and your word. So for me, again, I'm prefacing all of these as in to stand guard at the doorway of your mind, the food for thought, the food for considerations. Who do you want to be? Do you want to be a man of honor or a woman, character, of integrity, self-respect, or do you want to be a little weasel rat like I started this lecture on? Don't be a weasel fucking rat. I'm sure you won't, because you're following along. Next, do not, I said that, don't be perpetually predictable. So this ties in with keeping an air of mystery. The power of unpredictability is it heightens interest in you because people don't know what they're going to get next. As in, when I was traveling, going from place to place, people didn't know what I was going to post. And so I got the most amount of messages, likes, everything, because there was so much intrigue versus the day-to-day monotony and grind where nobody gives a fuck about you. So don't be perpetually predictable. Keep passion and excitement, wonder and adventure alive. But here's the challenge with that. And I think, I learned this from the author of Choose Your Enemies Wisely and Your Next 5 Moves, Patrick Bet-David. He said, success is predictable. As in, it's doing the same disciplines consistently over time until. And so the challenge that you're going to combat if your goal is to have an air of mystery is, in terms of trying to avoid predictability, is in order to be successful, you need to do the predictable. And actually in a video by him, I believe it's the 20 laws of money or the 20 rules for money, has millions of views. It's highly worth the watch. He talks about that. He said, money and success follow predictability. And as unattractive as it is, as monotonous, as boring, that's how you're going to be consistent and disciplined. But the consequence of that is quite unattractive to a lot of people because you're very, very predictable. So people know what I'm doing. They know the content, the videos that I'm making, and they know that this is what I'm going to be doing for weeks and weeks and weeks and months and years to come, right? Nobody cares about you when you're in the grind, when you're starting, but then if you follow the daily disciplines, the predictability, as boring as it is, at the cost of higher engagement, of not sacrificing, compromising your morals, your integrity for things like fucking clickbait, it will compound over time to where now, when you don't need anyone's support, that's when it'll be at its highest. They say, and I actually wrote this down, that you attract by becoming an attractive person. Success isn't something that you pursue. Success is something that you attract. So by you becoming your most attractive, that's when you'll attract all of these other people who didn't give a fuck about you amidst the grind. And so that's the great irony of it. When you need the attention the least, that's when you'll get it the most. And the reason is because you become the most attractive. And that reason is because now you're in a position where they can benefit from your success. Whether that's just clout, whether that's just attention by association, whether that's a monetary gain, a status increase for them, whatever the case. But that's the reason. And I know that makes sense because I've ordered it well. And this is going to cap out. So we go into the next one. Here we go. Woo! It's the last note. Focus on building a beautiful garden. And that's the most important thing. Don't sell your soul. It's so obvious when you go on social media for people who have big followings. You can see who sold their soul. You can see who's a fucking clown. You can see who's a puppet. You can see who, had they been put into the fucking arena, who's the man and who isn't, right? You know who's actually fucking about it. And then extrapolate that. Not only can other women, who I'm sure you're trying to win the admiration, respect, adoration of, not respect you, how the fuck do you look at yourself in the mirror with a sense of pride, dignity, self-respect? The answer is you fucking don't. Because you know you're a cuck. You know you're a bitch who sold his soul, who gave in to short-term gratification, instant gratification, willing to sacrifice his morals and his character for this short-term payout. Those people, there's a great quote by Napoleon Bonaparte. He said, "Glory is fleeting, but obscurity lasts forever." And it's so true in this exact sense. The glory that you're getting, let me put the antithesis of it for people who sell their soul and their integrity. The glory that you're getting is fucking fleeting. And then he says obscurity lasts forever. But that's the exact result of going down that path where you sacrifice who you are. Is your 15 minutes of fame will be just that. And then you'll be erased for the fucking history of time, right? Because you weren't true to yourself. And it's that simple. Character and integrity stand the test of fucking time. And if not on a global stage, in your circle of influence. I saw a great video the other day. It was by Greg Plitt. He's talking about a eulogy when you die. Nobody goes to your grave giving a fuck about your materialistic possessions, about your trophy wife, about any of those bullshit accolades. They speak of and talk of and mourn over the person of their character. That's it. Their character, their integrity, how they made them feel, what they gave to them. Do you understand? And their time, and their love, and their commitment, and their honesty, and their generosity. Not in how they sacrifice their fucking soul to chase clickbait, to chase clout, to chase all this bullshit for the short-term payout, for a fucking car, or a paycheck, or whatever. So, it ties in what we began with, to what end, right? What is that costing you? Is that a price you're willing to pay? For some people it is. Some people, particularly in this generation, who have no patience, no work ethic. Alex Hormozy did a rant video on this. It's so fucking easy to be successful because there is no competition, because no one is willing to stick it out. No one is willing to do work for any extended period of time. They just give up so fucking easily. So here, there is no competition. There isn't any, because no one has any sort of patience, any sort of discipline, any sort of long-term time horizon. It's me, get this now, you know, from the dating apps to the Uber Eats to the Amazon Prime. It's fucking tomorrow, next day, same day, right? And so as a result, no one develops a man or woman of any character, of integrity, of moral virtue, fortitude. You don't see any of that development in anyone. And no one creates a garden, and which is what I put, so beautiful, because they don't put in the time, the patience, the effort, the care, care in the little things, in the little details, because everyone's cutting the fucking corners. Everyone's shortcutting it. Everyone's, how do I pay to get out of the work? How do I get rich quick? How do I get fit quick? Don't be that guy. Don't be that girl. Focus on building a beautiful garden, and you will attract all you seek. And I put success, money, women, glory, fame. Why or how? By becoming an attractive person. Just be you. So the shortest one, guys. That is law number 6. Let's recap. Let's make sure that we're not going in one ear, out the other. Here we go. What was the first law? Never outshine the master. The second law, learn how to use your enemies, never put too much trust in friends. Third law, conceal your intentions. Fourth law, oh, buddy boy. I know what the fourth law was. Come on, man. Okay, hold on. Let's skip to the fifth law. What the fourth law? One of them was about your reputation. Conceal your... Oh, always say less than necessary. Ha. Fourth law, always say less than necessary. Everything relies on reputation. Guard it with your life. Number 6, we just spoke about it. Court attention at all costs. That is the first 6 laws of power by Robert Greene. This is Rat Life University. I hope you enjoyed. It was a long day for me, man. That's why you can see the bags under my eyes. Oh, but life happens for you. I'm being tested with my patience being tested outside of this university in every aspect of everything that I'm trying to build, come together. And so all of these laws, all of these texts that we're doing, believe me when I say I am embodying them. I really am. So that's law number 6. And that's the second one for this week. Book number 19 is going to be, I have it somewhere, How to Win Friends and Influence People. So that's the next one. With that, no more dilling the dally, no more ado. That is Rat Life University, where Rat Life starts with belief and the courage to pursue. That rhymed. We're all gonna make it. That's it.